Let me tell you something, Pack Nation. I am standing in my living room. It is 31 degrees outside in Peshtigo. Windows are frosted over, and I am fired up about a 22-year-old safety from Milledgeville, Georgia. This is my life now, and I would not change it for anything. Pack Nation, we need to talk about Javon Bullard. Now look, I am going to be honest with you, because that is what I do. When Goody took Bullard in the second round, 58 overall, in the 2024 draft, I slotted him in next to McKinney, and I did not think much past that. Second round safety from Georgia. Fine, good, moving on. But by October, a fourth round pick, picked 53 spots after him, had taken over the starting safety spot. The conversation around Bullard had gone quiet, and that is a problem for a second-round pick. Year one was rough, and I say that with love. The kid played 85 tackles in 15 games, which sounds great, right? That sounds like a starter. He was starting, but Pack Nation, the coaching staff had him at free safety, then kicked him to slot corner by week 5, then back to doing both at the same time. Back and forth, and I get it. They were figuring it out. But here is what that did to a rookie. Javon Bullard became the first player in the entire NFL since 2007 to play over 250 snaps at both slot corner and free safety in the same season. Both roles, same year. You know what that ass of a 21-year-old just trying to learn an NFL defense? Do you understand me? That is like asking a guy to run 2 different job sites at once and then wondering why neither one is finished on schedule. You know what that reminds me of? You ever buy one of those big fancy multi-tool kits? Comes in the case, 50 pieces, looks like a surgeon's setup, and the one piece you actually need is never in there. You dig around, you find something that almost fits, you jam it in, and strip the bolt halfway before you realize you grabbed the wrong size. That is what they did to Javon Bullard in year one. They had the right tool, they just kept reaching for the wrong attachment. And he still made 85 tackles. He still started 11 games. He still competed every single week at the highest level of professional football. That is not a guy who folded. That is a guy who endured. But the ceiling was buried under the confusion. So here is where the story turns. Pack Nation, stay with me here. Because year 2 is where Javon Bullard stops being a project and starts being a problem for opposing offenses. Jeff Hafley finally made the call. This kid is a slot defender. Stop moving him. Stop experimenting. Put him in the slot and leave him there. And what happened? His PFF coverage grade went from 49 as a rookie, and yeah, 49 is not a number you frame and hang on the wall, I know, all the way up to 63.7 in 2025. And in his last 5 games of the season, 68.7 average. He was playing at a level where only 3 slot defenders in the entire league ranked better across major coverage metrics. You want the names? Kyle Hamilton, Derwin James, and Darion Kendrick. The first 2 are widely considered the best hybrid defensive backs on the planet. And Javon Bullard, our Bullard, Bull, second-round pick, 2 years in the league, was right there in that same conversation. Am I crazy? I am not crazy. Yards allowed per reception dropped from 10.1 as a rookie down to 6.5. 0 touchdowns allowed after giving up 3 the year before. He went from playing 44% of his snaps in the slot as a rookie to 77% in 2025. Same player, same tools, just finally pointed at the right target. And Pack Nation, are you hearing this? He won the defensive MVP of the national championship game at Georgia against TCU. 2 interceptions and a fumble recovery. That is the player we are talking about. That was always in there. And now, Jonathan Gannon walks into 1265 Lombardi Avenue, and everything just locked in. Because Gannon does not run a normal defense, Pack Nation. He runs a 3-safety package, what they call the penny front, the big nickel. 3 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers, 2 corners, and 3 safeties on the field at once. McKinney, Evan Williams, and who do you think is that 3rd safety, Pack Nation? I will give you one hint. His nickname is Bull, and he is about to make every single person who doubted him look like the biggest jabroni in Wisconsin.
Javon Bullard, that is who. And this is not an accident. This is not a nice to have. This is architecture, Pack Nation. This is Goot and Gannon looking at the roster and seeing something that fits together like a machine that was designed by one engineer and handed to the exact mechanic who knows how to run it. Here is how the 3-safety look actually works. In sub-packages, which is most of the game now because everybody knows this is a passing league, Gannon puts 3 safeties on the field. McKinney and Evan Williams play deep, has safety, center field. The 2 guys with the range and instincts to lock down a cover 4 shell from the back end. They are the deep water, Pack Nation. You are not throwing over those 2 without consequences. And then there is Bullard. Bullard walks down into the slot, plays the overhang, plays the nickel. He brackets the number 2 receiver. He fits the run from the second level like a linebacker. He blitzes off the edge when Gannon wants to bring pressure. And the question is, can he actually do all of that? He was doing all of that at Georgia before any of this because Javon Bullard was a slot corner at Georgia in 2022. He was a safety in 2023. Back and forth between the 2. Sound familiar? But in college, that versatility made him a weapon. The same guy who walked into the national championship game against TCU and came out with 2 interceptions, a fumble recovery, and the defensive MVP trophy, playing exactly this multiple, chaotic, do-everything role. Now, I need to tell you about Budda Baker, because if you want to understand what Gannon is building here, you need to understand Budda Baker. 4-time Pro Bowler, 5'8", 200 pounds of absolute destruction. The guy who plays like he has a personal problem with every tight end in the NFL. In Arizona, Baker was Gannon's secret weapon. Walk him down from safety into the slot, and he becomes a linebacker. Walk him back, and he is a deep defender. Nobody on offense ever knew where he was going. He was everywhere. That is the role. That is exactly the role Gannon is building for Javon Bullard in Green Bay. And Bullard fits it like the role was cut from his measurements. You know what this reminds me of? You ever watch a river in January, real slow freeze, starting from the edges, and by February, there is one spot right in the middle where the ice just finally locks, like everything around it has been building toward that moment all winter, and then solid. That is Javon Bullard and Gannon's defense. The championships at Georgia, the hybrid college role, 2 years getting yanked around in Green Bay's scheme. All of it was the river building toward the freeze. And Gannon is the February. I know. Sal, you are comparing a safety to ice formations on a Wisconsin river in the middle of January. This is what this football team does to a man. I stand by every word. Here is what I need you to understand. McKinney is a Pro Bowler. Evan Williams might be the most underrated young safety in the entire NFC. And Bullard, with a defined role with the coordinator who built his entire career around the player exactly like him, is trending towards something special. 3 slot defenders in the whole league rank better than him across major coverage metrics down the stretch of 2025. 3 in the whole league. Gannon did not just inherit a defense. He inherited the exact personnel for the exact scheme he has been running his entire coaching life. 3 safeties, versatile, multiple, disguise everything, make quarterbacks late. And the kid they drafted in the second round 2 years ago, the kid who spent his rookie year getting pulled to safety, then to slot, then back again, is sitting right there in the Buda Baker role like he was always supposed to be there. Because maybe he was always supposed to be there. Pack Nation, Javon Bullard is about to have a year that makes you forget you ever had a single concern about him. I am telling you right now. And when it happens, you come back to this episode and you tell Big Sal he was wrong. You will not be able to, because I will not be. Subscribe to Let Me Tell You Something on the Packernet Podcast Network. Hit follow wherever you get your podcast. I am Big Sal, and Pack Nation, stay loud, stay green, keep believing in this team. Go, Pack, go!